So one of my subscribers gave me a personal request. They said we would like to learn some vocabulary and phrases regarding hospitals. Thank you, Jay. And I replied, okay, cool. And because I have some of the greatest subscribers here on YouTube, that's what we're going to do today. Well, hello, all of my students. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Jay, and on today's English lesson, I am going to teach you some key hospital vocabulary words and phrases, and I have some sentences that we're going to work on also. And all of this will help you to navigate throughout your local hospital. So, with that being said, I hope you're ready for some learning and some laughter. Make sure that notification bell is on so you can be notified of my next English lesson. Let's dive into today's lesson. Okay, so the first word I want to teach you is stretcher. Say that with me. Stretcher. Go. So a stretcher, it's like a mobile bed, a mobile couch, okay? Notice it looks like a chair with wheels on it. A stretcher is a bed on wheels used to move patients, okay? So to go from one area of the hospital to another, or to take you from the hospital or from the ambulance into the hospital, they use oftentimes a stretcher. Okay, let's look at a sentence. The nurse pushed the patient on a stretcher. The nurse pushed the patient on a stretcher. Now, notice the word patient. Patient can be used in two different ways. Here, it's talking about a person that is being treated in a hospital. But you can also use patient to describe a person's character when they're going through hardship or tribulation. I believe that you must handle your hardships with patience. Okay, so patient here has to do with a person. All right, let's go to another hospital vocabulary word. Bandage. Say that. Bandage. Okay, notice the bandage is wrapped around the person's hand because that is where they have been injured. Okay, so a bandage is a strip used to cover and protect a wound. So a person could have burned themselves. Maybe you were trying to cook and you got boiling water or some hot fish grease and burned your hand and it began to turn red. And maybe it was a terrible burn and the skin began to melt and peel. That's disgusting. And so you would need a bandage to protect it so it does not become infected. Some people are in car accidents, or maybe they were horseback riding, or maybe they fell out of an airplane and they had an injury that caused a broken bone or it caused their skin to be scratched or punctured and they needed a bandage. Notice my sentence. She wrapped a bandage around his arm. Let's read and repeat. She wrapped a bandage around his arm. What are some other things that you can wrap? You can wrap your hair if it's wet, and I don't have any hair, so I can't wrap it. You can wrap a gift that you're going to give someone for their birthday or Christmas. Okay? Let's go to a phrase that you can use at the hospital. Touch and go. Touch and go. So when we use the term touch and go, we're describing that a person has a dangerous or uncertain situation. Okay? So naturally speaking, you can touch my hand and then run. That's touch and go. Okay? But that's not what the phrase means. When someone has surgery or someone has some type of accident or something harmful has happened, and they ask the doctor, "How is my father?" And he says, "It's touch and go. We'll have to get back with you in a couple of days." Okay? It's touch and go. So that's a phrase using to describe that it's up in the air. They could live, they could die. Their condition could get better, it could get worse. It's touch and go. We'll have to see moment by moment. So we really can't say, okay? Touch and go. All right, here is another hospital vocabulary word I want you to practice and be familiar with. Intravenous, or for short, we just say IV. Okay? Say that with me. Say IV. The formal term is intravenous, and this is simply a tube that gives medicine or fluids in a vein. So when you go to the hospital and someone's been there, maybe they're dehydrated. My mother, for some reason, she's up in age now, and she'll eat something that's not settling with her body, and she gets sick, and she tells me, "I'm going to the hospital," and I'm like, "Mom, drink some water, get some Gatorade. You sound dehydrated." She doesn't do it. She goes to the hospital, and guess what the doctor says? "We're going to give you some water and some Gatorade." Because you're dehydrated. If she would have just listened to what I said. But I understand I'm not a physician or a medical professional, but I know what dehydrated means. And so what they do when they go to the hospital is they give her a IV. Oh, I don't know about you, but I don't like needles, and they stick it in your vein, whether it's here or in your arm somewhere. Oh my goodness. Just talking about it makes my skin crawl, makes me feel very uncomfortable. Okay. Another phrase that I want you to practice is go under the knife. Go under the knife. And this phrase simply means to have surgery. So you might say, "I didn't think my injury was that serious, but it appears I may have to go under the knife." So you're telling someone that you may have to have someone cut on you. I have a friend of mine. I told you guys about her a couple of weeks ago. She had a kidney and I believe it was her pancreas. She had a transfer, and they took out one of her kidneys and her pancreas, and she got a new one. She found a donor. Someone donated it to her. And everything has been well. I think she came home last week or earlier this week, and she is doing well. Everything has agreed with her body, and it was just a miracle. And so we're thankful for that. She had to go under the knife. Okay? We're halfway finished. Wheelchair. Wheelchair. Now, wheelchair is a compound word. And if you've watched a number of my English lessons, I get excited about compound words. When I was a kid, I just loved compound words. 2 words in one. Wheelchair, okay? Wheelchair. A chair with wheels for patients who cannot walk. Okay, so they wheel you around in the chair and push you around in the hallway. And I don't understand, when you check out of an hospital and you can walk, why do they always put you in a wheelchair and push you to the car? I don't understand that, but that's a rule that they have at many hospitals. My son had his wisdom teeth removed a couple of summers ago, and he didn't have one removed, not 2, but all 4 at one time. And he was still under the influence of the anesthesia. And so his mouth had a bandage, he was in a wheelchair, and I recorded it with my phone. And they pushed him to the car, and oh my goodness, he's slim and tall like me, but he's more muscular than I am. And man, picking him up and trying to get him in that car, you could imagine, for someone skinny like me, it took some willpower. And so we finally got him in there, but that was a funny moment. I pray that I always remember with my son. Let's look at a sentence. The man used a wheelchair to move around the hospital. Let's read and repeat. The man used a wheelchair to move around the hospital. Okay, here's another phrase that you can use at the hospital. Just what the doctor ordered. Okay, this is something we use commonly in American English. This phrase again, just what the doctor ordered. And this simply means to get exactly what you want or need. Now, you don't necessarily have to just use this at the hospital. You can use this in everyday conversations. If you're thirsty and I say, here, Jay, here's some water, and I go, ooh, it's just what the doctor ordered. Okay? Or if my wife comes home and she says, oh, I miss you so much, I'm so glad to see you, and she gives me a kiss, and I say, girl, that was just what the doctor ordered. Come here, girl. Just what the doctor ordered, okay? To get exactly what you want or need, okay? Thermometer. Say that with me. Thermometer. A thermometer is a tool for measuring body temperature. Okay? Remember when COVID was around and everyone was checking their temperature? I have a thermometer here at home, and it looks just like the first one here in the picture. It's an infrared one. I used to have the older one, like the second picture, and you would place it under your tongue, and you would have to wait about a minute for it to gauge what your temperature was. But this thermometer, man, you can point it right at your throat, and in an instant, it will tell you your temperature. Technology is so amazing, okay? Notice the sentence. The doctor used a thermometer to check her fever. Now, I remember a time, and I'm telling on my age, to where we did not have a infrared thermometer. I remember when we used to have glass thermometers, and they had the red mercury in there, and you would shake it up, and then you would put it under your tongue, and it would tell you your temperature. And it took a minute for it to figure it out. But I also remember when I was a child, and they would put the thermometer at the other end of your body. And it would have to sit there until it got your body temperature. I'm so thankful for technology. Now, this next one is something I mentioned earlier that I do not like, okay? Syringe. Syringe. Now, most people just don't say syringe, even though that's a formal or technical word for this object. We often just say a needle, okay? I do not like needles at all, okay? A syringe or a needle is a tool used to give injections or draw blood. So next month, I will be going to get my physical. And one part of getting a physical is they have to take blood. And I know they're going to be trying to get that vein to pop up. And then I have to sit there while she sticks that syringe in my arm and take 2 vials of blood. One particular year, I had been fasting and I had been drinking water. They tell you if you're not going to eat, make sure you drink water. And man, she stuck that needle in me, and I tell you, I almost fainted. I didn't have hardly any energy. Oh man, but I don't like needles when I go to the dentist. If I have to have teeth worked on, I don't like needles in my arms. I don't like them, period. Okay? Notice the sentence. The nurse filled the syringe with medicine. Let's say that. The nurse filled the syringe with medicine. Okay, on the mend. Just a few more. On the mend. Okay, this is a phrase we use to describe someone that is getting better or recovering from illness, accident, or surgery. They're on the mend. So my friend I told you that had a couple of organs transplanted in her body, she's on the mend. My mother-in-law, who had surgery this summer, I spoke to her today, and she said her body's still aching, but she's on the mend, okay? She's getting better. Hospital gown. Now, this is the back of the gown, okay? So you get a lot of air coming in the back. Hospital gown. Oh, I remember when I went and got my physical and had to get my prostate examined. Oh, gosh. Oh, doc was like, it doesn't hurt. It's going to take a minute. Oh, my goodness. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that. That's too much information. A loose shirt patients wear in the hospital. Okay. So I have this sweater on or this hoodie on and it's open in the front, but a hospital gown, it would be turned around backwards and it would be open in the back. Okay. I mean, just everything showing, just feeling violated. He changed into a hospital gown before surgery. Okay. He changed, took off one outfit and put on the garment from the hospital before surgery. Okay. Are you guys having fun? I am having so much fun. Okay. All right. Just 3 more to go. 3 more to go. X-ray. X-ray. A picture of bones or a picture of the inside of the body. She got an X-ray to check her broken wrist. There's a kid at my church who wrestles, and he's so excited. It's his first year wrestling in middle school, and every Sunday he comes and tells me, I had a wrestling match. Actually, I went to see him wrestle, and he was winning. He was like 10-3 for his first time, doing very good. 10 wins and 3 losses. He showed up Sunday and has a cast on his arm. He fractured his elbow. He had to get an X-ray. He said they looked at it and said it wasn't serious, but he had to wear a cast. And so he was kind of down in the dumps about it, feeling a little sad. But I said, hey, man, that's part of being an athlete. Injuries can happen, okay? Crutches. Crutches. Long supports used to help someone walk. He used crutches after injuring his leg. Crutches. So you need a crutch, something to lean on. When my son was a child, I went to basketball practice with him trying to play, and I sprained my ankle at my son's basketball practice, and I had to use a crutch. And it was my driving foot. I'll never forget. I had to drive home with my left foot because my ankle was so swollen. Oh, it was awful. He used crutches after injuring his leg. Medication. I call them drugs. Medicine given to treat an illness. Okay? She takes her medication twice a day. Do you have to take medication? If you do, or do you know someone that takes medication? How many pills do they have to take each day? Let me know down in the comments section. That amazes me when I hear people say, I have to take 12 pills. I have to take 19 pills. I'm thankful I don't have to take any medication or drugs. Okay, so that's going to do it for today's lesson. I have taught you about 13 different vocabulary words and phrases that you can use to navigate around the hospital. Let me know down in the comments section, was today's lesson helpful, and would you like me to continue doing these types of lessons? I'll get back to doing more English in the news, but I wanted to do something just a little bit different. So check out my playlists. I have several playlists on my channel. English from the news, read and repeat lessons, English through story, everyday tips to help you to improve your grammar and vocabulary. I have so many different playlists that you can use and study for free right here on my channel. And all I ask is, if it has been helpful, is to share it with a friend. Send them the link, okay? And let them know that Jay is on YouTube teaching English with a little bit of learning and laughter. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, I hope you join me on my next English lesson. I'll see you then.